Good evening. I need more energy. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you for that. I know it's a Saturday. Normally, brain switches off a little bit for me, and you need that kind of energy. And I think for some of us, because during the week we work so hard. Okay, it was good to actually listen. I came a little early to get a feel about the audience and also listen to Sheila, and it was good to understand, and also our other friends. So I just thought, let me share a little bit of experience on a few things. So sometime back, I was sitting with Anna University, one of the vice chancellors. Anna University has many vice chancellors. He was sharing one experience. In Anna University is one of the largest technical universities in the world. They have more than 500 engineering colleges in Tamil Nadu under Anna University's various headings, and one of the vice chancellors was sharing this experience. This was one of the engineering graduate who came out with distinction, which is a fairly good percentage in India. And there's some simple questions he was asking. He's an electrical engineering grad, and questions were more on, okay, tell me about what's the kind of power which is used and at home and simple things. And then he asked, the next question was on, have you ever replaced a fuse at home? All of us, or especially from India and other developing countries, we know that because of our infrastructure is still developing, we need to, sometimes there will be a little higher power than what is required, or some very, very high spike which comes and the fuse blows. And this person was very worried. Sorry, I never did. So then who replaces at home? Because it's not that you will get an electrician to replace a fuse. Then he said, my mother. So what's her educational background? Was the next question by the vice chancellor. He said she is 4th standard pass. Now just look at the scenario. An engineering education graduate who has got distinction has not been able to apply the technical knowledge of replacing the fuse. Don't get me wrong here. The engineering education is not studied to replace fuse. But if the person has to go to build a hydroelectric project or thermal projects or work in a organization like ours in industrial engineering, or do some things, if the person is not able to relate to what the person knows right in front of them, maybe repairing a grinding machine or replacing a fuse or some simple things like that, how will he or she will ever get into that situation where the application knowledge is built? This was something which was very important context which was coming. And I was also hearing a lot of aspects of Indian education system and the culture. I think we are really very strong in many areas. Sometime back I was speaking to one of the journalists from Washington Times, and it came up as a heading, which I was actually having a casual chat with her, saying that the Guru system, what we had in India, was something which was perfect for a few years ago, or couple of centuries ago, where the knowledge was with one individual, and Guru is ultimate, right? Whatever the teacher, for those of you who are not familiar with this word of Guru, it was always considered that the person with the knowledge is the one who knows everything, and you actually go to the person, and whatever he or she says, that's ultimate. Now today's knowledge world, is it possible like that? Very, very difficult, because knowledge is so much. Even if somebody like Einstein is here, he may not be able to do something which today some of our young engineers are doing. So knowledge is actually everywhere. It is there it can be learned from so many systems, be it World Wide Web or be it in so many books and so many things. So the role of a teacher is changing from the guru's role to facilitator role, which is very, very important dimension, which it's very easy to say, but how to actually translate that into real action. So the role of a teacher is on how to inspire students to actually get into that particular area and go a lot more deeper into the research or thinking and question what Sheila was saying. And is this the right thing? Are there many other ways of doing it? Not just say that, okay, this is what is the question and this is the answer. So those days are gone. So how do you build that? This was something which was coming up in the thought process, and which is where, Wipro, our chairman, is very passionate on education, because he believes that that's something which will change the economy. And we launched actually in 2007 a trust called Mission 10X for changing the employability matrix. Because you know that if you look at today, the employability of engineering graduates who are coming out of the engineering colleges is less than 25%, which is what the reports from McKinsey and others scored. And if you look at number of engineering graduates who are coming out, we had one of our American Society of Engineering Education senior secretary who came and shared the numbers of what's happening in US. The entire US, about 70 to 80,000 of undergraduates come in, and Bangalore city alone, within 30 kilometers radius, is more than 85,000 engineers. That's the kind of volume which is produced in India. And so out of them, if only 25% of them actually are able to get the kind of employability skills which are expected by the industry, then it's a challenge. And so we did a lot of research on that with multiple people in NASSCOM and various other corporates, and launched that not-for-profit trust, so that you can read about it as Mission 10X was the name of that, where we trained actually more than 25,000 teachers across 1,250 engineering colleges in India, more than 20 states, to actually develop the teachers and help them in that process. To, again, cut the story short on that front, there are two important dimensions which are required. One is technical skills which are required in terms of the application process, like an electrical engineer, understanding where the electrical theory, be it a Kirchhoff's law or whatever are those different technical parts which are there, how do you apply actually in an application area, which is the real life, how to use that in a radio frequency systems or maybe in an industrial engineering area, how to build that. The second aspect which is equally important is in terms of the behavioral skills, right from communication skills, because many of us come from vernacular language medium where we would have studied in Kannada, Tamil, Telugu or Hindi, up to a certain level, and then you move into education, higher education, which is in English. So how do you actually develop communication skills to other behavioral skills which are required in terms of multiple dimensions, which some of my other colleagues are going to speak in the panel on what is required to actually stand up as an engineer. That's something which is very, very important dimension. And so that's something which is looked at when corporate is actually looking at the employability of a person. What is the technical understanding, and are they able to relate to what is that which is being applied in an industry? And second area is how comfortable somebody is in the behavioral skills. That's something which is built in a structured manner. And I think there's a very good movement which is happening, and this is a time for India to really connect up. When you keep traveling in different places, you see Indians are able to survive very, very complex situations across the globe on technology challenges. It is because right from childhood, even if you need a LKG seat, you have to be standing in competition with somebody. And I remember a few years back when I had to get a seat for my son, that was more difficult than getting a job for me. At 3 a.m. in the morning, you have to stand in a school queue to get application form. Or maybe because I was fortunate that I can ask somebody to go and stand there in the line, but not everybody can do that. So people live in the competition, and anywhere in the world we can survive. We need to tweak a little bit on our skills when we are into a global situation. And sitting in India, we are able to serve the globe. And I think as Sheila and others have told about the ambition, we should continuously keep looking at how we are able to overcome some of those initial challenges which we would have, and look at the bigger dream so that we are able to achieve. That's what I thought I would share. Thank you.